Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how you can use a combination of Perplexity and Windsurf to build literally anything you want. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of Perplexity, it's an AI-powered search engine that uses AI agents to scrape the web to always give you the best possible answers to your questions. The problem with LLMs like Claude and ChatGPT is the knowledge cutoff, right? Meaning the data that you get from those LLMs is always a few months old, and especially if you use AI models for coding, that can be detrimental, right? Because coding libraries are changing, frameworks are being updated, and you want to make sure that you always adhere to the latest best practices when you write your software. This is why in this video I will show you how you can use Perplexity to do this. And now let's jump into the video. Okay guys, so you want to head over to Perplexity AI, and right now they have a pretty sick promotion. So if you click on Pro, you can see that they give away a month of Professional for free. So I don't know how long this promotion will go, but you want to make sure that you grab it because, well, it's literally for free, and Perplexity becomes so much better because you get access to all of the high performance models like Claude 3.5 Sonnet and GPT-4o and so on. So make sure you go to Perplexity AI and create a pro subscription. Now, once it's done, you will probably be redirected to your dashboard, right? As you can see here, I'm currently logged in with my user, and you want to give it the following prompt. So I want to build a Chrome extension with the latest version of Vite plus React that helps the user block distracting websites for a certain amount of time. It needs to have a beautiful UI, but it's only an MVP, so we don't need to go overboard with the features. Blocking pages and having a visual representation of the save time for each website in an easily understandable manner is enough. Would you please go ahead and create the PRD, so a project requirements document for this project, and put all of the things in there I need to think about when building such a project. I'm not a developer, so I have no idea what's important for the project plan. Please be my seasoned senior dev and coding tutor and create the PRD in a way that it guides me through the process step by step. And you want to make sure that when you click on focus, web is enabled, right? Because as you can see, I'm telling it to use the latest version of Vite and React, and this way I make sure that Perplexity does the research before it tells me the specific command that I need to use inside of my coding IDE, which is Windsurf for this project. So you want to click the arrow or hit enter, and then you want to give Perplexity a bit of time to do its research. And as you can see, it says, okay, product requirements doc, website blocker, Chrome extension. We're developing a Chrome extension using Vite and React to help users block distracting websites for specified periods. This MVP will focus on core functionality with a clean, intuitive UI. Website blocking, time savings, visualization, user-friendly interface. And we're using React with TypeScript. As a build tool, we're using Vite, Tailwind CSS for styling, state management, React Context API, storage, Chrome storage, and for the development environment, we're using Node.js and NPM. Now, as you can see here, it gives me the different phases. We need to set up the project. We need to configure Tailwind. We need to create a manifest file, update vite.config. And essentially, it gives me everything that I need to know in order to understand what I have to do. Now, you can take this a step further. And you want to copy all of that. You want to open a new tab, go to Perplexity AI again, and you want to change the focus to writing, okay? Because now that we have all of the up-to-date data when it comes to creating project setup and so on, we can now further enhance the PRD by asking Perplexity to fill in the things that the first iteration might have missed. So you want to tell it, I have a PRD and I will paste it here. I need you to enhance any parts where something is missing, where something might be missing or steps are not thorough enough. And I want you to give the output as GitHub flavored markdown. You play the role of a seasoned senior dev coding tutor that is using this project to teach a new junior dev how to code properly. So, and we'll hit enter. Now let's see if there are some changes. So we're developing a Chrome extension. This MVP will focus on the core functionality with clean UI, website blocking, time savings, block list management, add, remove, and edit blocked websites. And if we change back here, you can see that this is a little bit more in depth, right? So block list management, add, remove, and edit block websites. What we have here is only allow users to add URLs to a block list. So we don't really have the feature of remove and edit blocked websites. So this is new. It also added the testing, linting, and formatting. As you can see, all of the points where the font is bold are basically new, okay? But the rest of the PRD kind of stays the same. Let's see, so develop main components. This is also new, as you can see. And this is really how you can improve your first initial result of the LLM, right? As you can see, it gives us the background script, the main components, the timer, and everything. So what we need to do now is we need to we need to copy all of this, and we need to head over to Windsurf and paste it into Windsurf as a PRD, right? So we'll copy all of that, and then we want to open Windsurf. Let me quickly put that here. And we want to open a new folder. We'll call it Chrome extension. Open, and you want to create a new file, call it prd.md, and you want to paste everything inside of here. You want to save it. And now the next thing you need to do is you want to ask Windsurf to basically help you create the project, right? Now, since we already have such an extensive PRD, as you can see here, it says npm create, beat at latest, and so on. Cascade, or the cascade feature inside of Windsurf, which is basically similar to Cursor Composer, can help us do all of this fully automatically, right? Whenever we encounter issues inside of Windsurf, which is a little bit too complicated to solve, or Windsurf can't help us, we'll head back over to Perplexity, and Perplexity resolve these issues. So, but now we want to tell Cascade or Windsurf what it needs to do, and for that I've prepared a prompt. So, and it says, okay, please have a look at PRD. I want you to set up the Vite plus React boilerplate according to prd.md, then walk me through the process and explain how I can load the extension into my browser. You can find all of the necessary commands that you need to run and the file contents inside of prd.md. Please use it. Now we'll hit enter. Now this should let Windsurf start analyzing the PRD, and then it should grab the first command, which is npx create Vite at latest, as you can see here. And we want to click accept. So apparently there was an issue. It was actually so. And now it says scaffolding project. As you can see here, we now have the website-blocker directory with our public and all of our source files. And it says, now let's navigate to the directory and install the dependencies. We'll click accept again. We need to run npm I, and this will go ahead into the package.json and install all of these things, as you can see here. So as you can see, it created the manifest.json file according to the PRD. So let's scroll down. As you can see, this is the manifest.json file with the permissions, storage, tabs, use navigation, and so on. Vite.config ts already exists. Let me edit it instead. Let's do npm run build. So for some reason, it decided to put the manifest file as a variable or as an object inside of vite.config.ts. For now, we'll just leave it at that. It says build failed. Okay, could not load manifest asset icon. Yeah, okay, that makes sense because right now we don't have any icons, right? So now it went ahead, created a new folder, icons. So the build is successful. Now I'll explain how to load this extension into Chrome. And if we have a look at app.tsx, you can see that it hasn't created all of the files yet. Because if you have a look at this, we don't have the background script, right? Or we have the background script, but just as a boilerplate, right? It didn't use the actual code that Perplexity gave us. So for now, we'll hit accept all, and then we'll head over to the browser. We'll go to Chrome:-extensions, and you want to make sure that developer mode is enabled at the top right, and because if it's not, you won't be able to see the 3 buttons at the top left, right? Then you want to click Load Unpacked. This will open a file picker, and here you want to go to your Chrome extension folder, and you want to choose the dist folder. This is your build folder, so to speak, that we just created with this command, right? npm run build. And then you want to select it. And if everything went according to plan, you will see the website blocker extension in the list of all of your extensions, right? Now, you can click on the extensions icon, and here you will find the extension. It says website blocker. You want to pin it so that you can easily access it. And now if you click it, you have the boilerplate code for a Vite plus React project, and you can click count as 0, count as 1, and so on. The first step was successful, so everything is working. Now we want to tell Cascade to create all of the files that we need, right? The background.ts file, the blocklist.ts file, and everything, and to create and to update our project structure with the new files. We'll head over to Cascade and say, I was able to successfully load the extension into my browser and it's working. Could you please go back into PRD and grab the code for all of the files and components that we need for the extension to do its job, e.g. timer.tsx and so on, and create those files. Please update my Chrome extension and tell me what I can do to test the new features. And let's have a look at the package.json. So right now, whenever we make some changes, we have to reload the extension. So we don't have a hot reload button, right? So hot reload means if you, for example, make some changes inside of here. So for example, let us delete the last section here, this last section. And if we save this and reload the page, you can see that nothing happens, right? Because we kind of use a static version, so to speak, of our Chrome extension. Hot reload means whenever we make some changes inside of those files and we save it inside of our IDE, so Windsurf, we immediately see the changes here. I want to ask Windsurf, maybe you can add something like a hot reload feature to our package.json file or scripts so that I can immediately see the changes in the extension in the browser. And you want to hit enter. I'll help you set up the components and add hot reload functionality. First, let me check PRD for the component code. And now it should go ahead and grab all of these files, right? Background.ts, blocklist.tsx, and timer.tsx, timestats.tsx, blocker context, and so on. So we'll see if it is able to gather all of the files and all of the code, or if we have to do some minor adjustments manually. app.tsx already exists. This is why Windsurf went ahead and updated the file. As you can see, the file is still red because we need some of the components. We still need timestats and blocker context. Now the file should turn green every second because all of the components are finished. So this worked quite well. Now let's create the blocker context. Let's create the storage utilities inside of here. As you can see, storage. And if we have a look at PRD and we search for the storage.ts file, as you can see, it's indeed the same content. Let's do npm run watch. To test the extension, keep the watch script running. It is still running. We have to check if it works if we leave it running inside of the chat window, or if we actually have to run this command inside of another terminal. But for now, let's see what Windsurf did. So I've set up all the components and added hot reload functionality. Here's what I've done. So main component that brings everything together. And if we have a look at app.tsx, indeed, we have the blocker provider, we have the block list, the timer, the timestats, and so on. We import all of the components from the components folder. It created a blog.html file. So this is essentially what we show to the user when he tries to access a page that is on our blog list. And it says to test the extension, keep the watch script running. This will automatically rebuild the extension when you make changes. In Chrome, go to Chrome extensions, load unpacked. So this is essentially what we've already done. And now we already see the changes, as you can see. It's not pretty, right? It says website blocker at the top, blocked websites. So let's see if we already have some functionality. And for that, I want to choose the Codium website. So let's put that here. Block duration. I guess this is minutes and seconds, right? No, hours and minutes. Okay, so maybe we can improve that a bit. But for now, let's just go with 3 minutes. Set timer. But unfortunately, nothing happens. Okay. So we can add it to the list, but nothing happens. So this is the first thing that we want to do is we want to ask Windsurf to resolve this issue. Right, everything seems to work. I see the changes, the new UI. I can add domains to the block list and I can set the timer. However, when I click set timer, nothing really happens. So I can still access the page and the Chrome extension really is without functionality. I can add website URLs to the block list and I can remove them. But the essential feature that we want to have, which is, well, blocking the website, doesn't work. Please scan all the files and fix the issue. Maybe you can add... and for now, maybe we want to check if we get some errors. No, we don't get errors. So this is literally the worst situation, right? You load the extension, everything seems to work, and you don't get any errors, which means you can really debug, right? This is why you want to tell Windsurf, maybe you can add log statements or anything so we can track what's actually happening under the hood. So I'll help you debug and fix the website blocking functionality. Let's add logging and fix the issues. And it goes to background.ts. First, let's update the background script and logging to fix the blocking logic. So apparently, as you can see, this was quite a lot of code that has been added to the file. And if we have a look at the background.ts file inside of here, so where is it? Let me search for it. Background.ts. Here it is. Okay. I guess this was also just a boilerplate without functionality, really. Now we ask Windsurf to kind of update the background script so that we get the feature of, well, actually blocking the file. So we don't need to run npm run build, right? Because remember, npm run watch is still running. So we want to hit accept all, and this should already have reloaded our extension. As you can see, we now have the hours and the minutes. So we want to add Codium and I don't know, we want to set it to 3 minutes, set timer. It says timer set for 3 minutes. So this works already, which is great. So I would like to have some kind of a way to see how many minutes or seconds have already passed with the current block duration, right? Because right now it only says, okay, set timer to 3 minutes, but the user can't actually see how long the block will still persist, which is obviously not a good user experience. So at first I want to see if I click remove and I reload the page, I can access it now. Okay, so the core feature is working. Now we obviously have to kind of fine tune the code a bit so that it actually makes sense from a user experience standpoint, right? So great, the core feature is working, but the UI still looks shitty. I mean, maybe you can come up with a better solution which is more beautiful and add a better styling, makes everything look beautiful in terms of the component style. But also right now, when I set a timer, I only get a quick note where it says, okay, timer of XYZ minutes set, but the user actually has no way of seeing how long the timer will run, if that makes sense. So maybe you could create an options page or something where we current blocks and also let the user do some changes maybe. And again, this is quite a huge prompt, right? Because it consists of multiple things. Usually you should not do this. Usually you should only work on one feature at a time. But just for the sake of this demo, I want to show you the capability of those AI coding tools, especially for small projects, right? This, for a bigger project with, I don't know, like 20, 30, 50, 100 files, this wouldn't work at all because the context would be just too big, right? And you want to make sure that you grab only a specific feature and work on that. Since we only have like 3, 4, 5, 8 files that the LLM or Windsurf needs to work on, it's okay, it's fine. Now, as you can see, it updated the v.config file and it adds the option page to our manifest.json file. We get the block settings.tsx file, we get the options.html file, which is the site that we will see once we click the settings button inside of here. So again, we don't need npm run build because npm run watch is still running. Let's do accept all. And now we click on settings, nothing happens. Okay. So if we have a look at app.tsx, it should work because we add the open options function to the button. So let me quickly check if the block feature is still working. So we'll do 1 minute. So I still can't access this, but we'll head over to Windsurf once more and say, okay, so I see that you've created all of the files, but when I click the settings button inside of my pop-up, aka my .tsx file, where is it here? The settings page doesn't open. Can you please investigate why that is and fix the issue? So I think the minute should be over. So let's see. Oh, it's still running. So I wonder, so we get some errors, could not create an options page. Whoa, okay, so this looks much nicer now. The issue might be that we need to update the V configuration to properly build both the pop-up and the options page. Let's fix this. First let's update the v.config to handle multiple entry points. So no, we don't need npm run build. We need to do accept all. And now let's see if I can access Codium because 1 minute should be over. So this works. Let's see. So if we do Codium again and I do 1 minute, timer set for 1 minute. Can I access this settings page now? No, I still can't access it. Probably get some issues here again. Okay, uncaught, could not create an options page. So whenever you get an error like this, you want to copy that and you want to head over here, you want to paste that and you want to say, okay, creating the options page still doesn't work. Can you please find out why, resolve it and walk me through it step by step? And I also want to change the fact that we are currently defining the manifest.json inside of the v.config file, because apparently this is not good practice, right? You want to have a standalone file, so to speak, like so, manage.json. So let's see, let's update the v.config file, handle the options page correctly. So we now should be able to access Codium again. No, we aren't. Okay. Okay, so the time saved also works. But I think the problem is that we still can't access Codium is because, well, whenever a URL is added to the blocked websites part here, it probably stays blocked, right? Even after the timer has run out. So let's do accept all. Okay, so let's reload the file. So we still can't access the option page. And this is the time where I will probably go ahead and ask Perplexity to help me resolve this. Now we should be able to access Codium again because we don't see it inside of the blog website anymore, right? But if I would like to see, so we add this to blocked websites, add will probably immediately blocked. Yeah, and this is the issue that we currently have. Okay, so right now, the user experience is a bit unintuitive, right? We have the options of adding a website to be blocked, and it will be immediately blocked. But if we set a timer and the timer runs out, the page will still be blocked. I hope you understand what I mean. So I need you to resolve this and come up with a better solution. And before we hit enter, I actually want to do another thing. So I want to head over to Perplexity, and this is the initial thing. So this is the part where we created the PRD initially, right? So this is why we want to ask Perplexity. So I've set up the project and actually already enhanced it a bit. But right now I have a problem. I tried to create a settings page for my Chrome extension and add a button to the pop-up window, aka the app.tsx file. But whenever I click the settings button, I get an error message in Chrome saying was not able to create the settings page. And you want to do the following. So you want to create a screenshot of your project structure, and you want to edit here, and you want to ask Perplexity, I have added a screenshot of my project structure. Could you please tell me what files or what contents of which files you need in order to help me resolve this issue? So based on your project structure, I need to see the contents of these key files to help you diagnose your settings page issue. Manifest.json, options.html, options app.tsx, app.tsx. Okay, now I will probably do this off camera so that you don't see me copy pasting all of the context. And once I'm done, I will get back to you. So I've added all of the relevant files to the chat window, and then I will say, here are all the files you've asked for. Please help me resolve the issue. Meanwhile, we want to hit send for the other request inside of Cascade. The timer and block list are working independently, which isn't ideal. Let's implement a better solution where when you add a website to the block list, it's not immediately blocked. The timer activates blocking for all websites in the block list. When the timer runs out, all websites are unblocked. Show the current blocking status in the UI. Okay, so this is apparently exactly what I wanted. Guys, to be honest, this won't be a production ready app, right? It's just a demo to show you what's possible. And maybe I will work on it off camera and I will release the code on my GitHub, right? But I don't want the video to get too long. This is why I only want to get the errors and bugs fixed and then we'll call it a day, right? Now let's scroll down and let's see what Perplexity told us. So, okay, here are the files I asked for was my prompt, and it says, based on the provided files, I can identify a few potential issues that might be causing the settings page error. Missing options entry point. And we want to take this here and give it to Windsurf, right? But first I want to accept all the changes and see what that did to my Chrome extension. So we'll want to reload just for good measure. And we want to go to Codium once more. So now the UI changed yet again, as you can see. So let's add Codium to the list of blocked websites. Okay, it still gets blocked immediately, which is not ideal. But at least we probably have a focus timer inside of here, which is nice. Okay, so this worked. We still can't access the settings page. And I would love to first resolve the blocking issue before I head back over to the settings page. Great. Now the UI for the timer looks much better, but I still have the issue that the page is immediately blocked once I add it to the list of blocked URLs. Maybe you can add another input field in the timer section that only works with the timer, right? So that we basically have two options of blocking pages, immediately blocking them without a timer, and then using the timer to only block the specific page, if that makes sense. So before you start changing any code, please repeat to me what I just told you and wait for my confirmation until you actually write the code. And this is something you always want to do, right? Sometimes you just want to check whether or not the LLM is actually on the right track with all of the changes and all things that it needs to add. And the answer is, let me summarize what you're asking for. You want to have two separate ways of blocking websites. Permanent blocking, this is the current functionality where sites are immediately blocked when added to the block list. These sites remain blocked until manually removed from the list. and the timer based blocking. This would be a new feature in the timer section. Add a separate input field to specify websites that should only be blocked during the timer duration. These sites are only blocked when a timer is active. Okay, yeah, this is correct. Please go ahead and implement it. Now, if I remove this and I try to access Codium again, this should work. Okay, yeah. It's nice to know that this core feature is working anyways. And so let's wait for Windsurf to make all of the necessary updates to the files, and then we'll see if it works. So we'll do accept all. And again, just for good measure, reload this, go to Windsurf. Now, as you can see here, we have another input field in the focus timer section. So let's try that again. Let's copy the Codium URL, paste that here, and we'll set the timer to 1 minute, and we'll do start timer. So apparently the UI is still a bit off, right? So first we have to add this. So for some reason, it immediately deletes the website. So let's see. So we still get some bugs. So I really don't understand what you did. The explanation of what you did sounded correct, but to be honest, when I add a URL to the block list inside of the timer component, I can only see it for a split second and then it vanishes. So I figure it gets just deleted again. And when I enter the URL, set the timer, and click set timer, the feature doesn't work at all because the page is not added to the block list, if that makes sense. So you have kind of this twisted, separated part. I just want you to do the following. So please change the timer component that the user can enter a URL, set the timer, and he only has the start timer button, right? So there is no additional add button next to the input field. Essentially, the start timer button is responsible for adding the website to the time-based URL block and also starting the timer, if that makes sense. So this is the last shot that I give Windsurf to actually fix this. Okay, then we'll head back over to Perplexity and try to fix the last issue. But unfortunately, this is the current state of AI development, right? If you want to do something without having to manually code and you want to rely 100% on those AI models or LLMs, you have to do a bit of back and forth, right, to actually get what you want. So we'll do accept all and we'll reload the extension once more. So let's grab the Codium URL once again. So this looks much cleaner and we want to set it to 1 minute, start the timer. Currently blocking. This worked. Now let's see. I will probably speed that up and show you the result. So right off the bat, I see a small issue, which is when you close the extension and open it again, the URL disappears from the list, right? But now let's check if we can access Codium again. Okay, so this feature is working, but we still can't access the settings page and it still says errors, could not create an options page. Okay, so for that, we want to head over to Perplexity and we want to copy the response and we want to head back to Windsurf and say, great, now this feature is working, which is awesome, but I still can't access the settings page. So I asked another LLM to help me resolve the issue and I actually got a response back and I will paste it here and I want you to double check the response and to use it to resolve the current issue that we can't open the settings page. And we want to do LLM response and we want to paste this here. So you really don't need the citations and you don't need the last part. Let's hit enter. Let me check the response and implement the necessary changes. The suggestions look correct. Let's implement them. So let's have a look at the options.html page. Apparently, there wasn't much of a change, right? So it deleted and added the options.tsx script again. If we have a look at app.tsx, okay, this didn't work as expected. The changes made should fix the options page issue, updated options.html to use relative path for the script. Is that so? It's literally the same script tag. Okay, now you should rebuild the extension. Yeah, okay, so npm run watch is still running. You know what? We'll try one more thing. So let me kill the run watch command. So we'll do cancel that step. and we'll go into website blocker to npm run build. So we get some errors. Sender is declared, but its value is never read. Inside of blog settings. Okay, let's do npm run watch. Okay, yeah, let's delete the icons. Now it worked. So apparently we had to run npm run watch again, but now we can access the settings page, which is nice. And we can update the duration for a blog. We have the statistics. We can see the blocked websites, which is awesome. So now let's check whether we can add the website here too, codium.com, add website, so add it to the block list. And now if I head to Codium, so this apparently it doesn't seem to work. Okay, it does. I had to refresh the tab, right? So it just changed to my tab, which was already stored. Great. Now, when I remove the page and I reload this tab, I should probably be able to access this again, which is awesome. And I can also update the duration. And if we have a look at this, let's do Codium. Let's do 5 minutes. Start the timer. And now guys, you see what I mean. So if I close the pop-up and open it again, the page is actually vanishing from this blocking list. And it's also not displayed inside of the options tab. So this could be something that you want to add, right? But other than that, I think we'll leave it at that. So this is how you can use Perplexity in combination with Windsurf to build literally anything that you want. The most important part really is to put in a bit more work in the beginning, right? When you want Perplexity to create the PRD, it should be as detailed as possible. And then you want to enhance it even further by changing the focus from web to writing, right? So thanks for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video.